Ads are great. It can actually help you drive growth for your SaaS business, except there's this one problem. Once you stop paying, the lead flow stops, the pipeline stops, everything stops. It's crazy because nearly 40% of every venture dollar are paid to Google and Facebook for ads. That's where all the money goes. And so it begs the question, why are people so obsessed with ads when there's so many other ways of getting distribution for free without having to pay so that you can actually grow your SaaS business? Why aren't people looking at these other forms of distribution and doubling down on them? So in this episode, I'm gonna walk you through 12 B2B SaaS growth marketing strategies that you can use today in 2021 and beyond to actually accelerate the growth of your SaaS business. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, and on this channel, I help SaaS founders like you grow your SaaS businesses faster with an unstoppable strategy. Now, if you are new to this channel, welcome. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon. That way you get notified every single time I drop an episode with actionable strategies on how to grow your SaaS business with the TK energy. Now, if you're already part of this community, if you're part of this channel, if you're part of my SaaS coaching programs, my people, welcome back. It's really awesome to see you over here. I don't think I ever talked about this, like not on this channel at least, but ToutApp, my last company, which I grew, was backed by Andreessen Horowitz and we sold to Marketo. That company, that product was actually, like, it started while I was coding over the course of a weekend. It was a Saturday. I was really frustrated with this other idea I was working on. It was not going anywhere and I needed to promote it. And I figured that email was one of the great ways to start promoting it, but there was no easy way to do it. So I actually built ToutApp for myself so that I could use it to promote this other startup idea that wasn't going anywhere. And sure enough, ToutApp took off. It took off within 3 days. It got hundreds of users. It started to generate revenues. People were paying $30 a month for that first version of ToutApp, $30. And it wouldn't even let you bold the word as you were sending out emails. It was text-only emails. It was crazy. And it begged the question, what did I get right in that stage? Now in this channel, we talked a lot about, how do you pick the right market? How do you position the product? How do you actually make sure that you're going after an urgent and important problem? But what I got right in that weekend was that I went after the right distribution channels. I didn't have any money. I was working a day job at the time and I was iterating on a product on the side. I was thinking about quitting. I was kind of experimenting. So I couldn't just pay for a bunch of ads and it was too risky. And so I went for one of these distribution strategies that I'm going to walk you through, and that allowed me to get hundreds of users and get the word out. And that was the power even back then. And that's the power even now. If you do them, if you focus on these organic growth strategies, they're not like SEO where it takes 18 months to pay off. They can actually work very quickly and they can be effective in driving growth for your SaaS business. It worked for me. So if you're excited to dig into the 12 B2B SaaS marketing strategies I'm gonna walk you through step by step, go ahead and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm and let's dig right into it. Okay, so out of the 12 that we're gonna do, I'm gonna split them up. Let's first talk about inbound strategies because these are essentially my favorite. So in terms of inbound, there are some key ways that you can drive growth today. And they worked back then, they work right now. They're the best of the best. In my SaaS go-to-market coaching program, this is the kind of stuff that we take founders and marketing leaders through to actually start getting demand and to vet out what they're doing. The first one that's my favorite, particularly for B2B SaaS businesses that's organic, is content on LinkedIn. This is the most powerful thing right now. And even still, like, it may feel like everyone knows it, but not everyone's doing it the right way and not everyone's capitalizing on it. But if you are actually diligent on LinkedIn and posting content on LinkedIn and upselling that to a manifesto, then you can actually start to drive demand for your SaaS business. It's incredibly powerful. Similarly, the second thing that's also powerful is content on Twitter. Not just snarky tweets, that doesn't work very well for driving demand, but if you write thoughtful tweet storms and then upsell to a manifesto or a mailing list or a newsletter or even a trial of your product, it works incredibly well. And you can follow me on Twitter, like the little username thing is right there, and you'll start to see how even I use Twitter today to actually drive demand for not just like my go-to-market program, but other businesses that I operate. The third way that you can actually drive inbound demand is to actually start a podcast. This is something that is not for the faint of heart. Like, you can probably get away with posting content on LinkedIn or Twitter and commit to it. But doing a podcast is tough because there's a whole workflow around it. You actually have to find the guests, you have to bring them on, you have to record it, you have to post it, then you have to promote it. But if you're able to pull it off, it gives you a level of authority that no one else has in the business, especially when it comes against your competitors. So all of a sudden you can go to prospective customers and say, hey, I would love to have you on my podcast where we talk about X, and X being a big macro trend in your industry that your product happens to solve. This is super powerful because you're not trying to sell them anything, but you're going to them and saying, hey, I actually talk about this big problem. I think it's important to you. I think you are really smart. Can you come on and actually share your thoughts? I'd love to interview you. And all of a sudden, you start to build a deeper relationship with your ideal customers. And then over time, you can upsell them into your product in an organic and natural way. So this is also super powerful. Number 4, and this may come as no surprise, I use this heavily. Number 4 is YouTube. People don't realize this, but YouTube is the second or third largest search engine in the world. Google, the company, actually owns 2 of the largest search engines in the world. The first one is Google, where you type in like what you want, and the other is YouTube, where you type in what you don't know. Like, that's literally what YouTube is used for. And that's why we post so much on YouTube, because it allows us to build this unstoppable community of founders, of marketers, of salespeople all around SaaS. And YouTube is completely free. If you post a video, it lives forever. When people search for it, your video will come up organically. And then at the end of the video, you can tell people to go check out your guide, your manifesto, or join your software, start a free trial, whatever it may be. It's super powerful. In fact, all the time I get hit up and say, hey, can you do a promoted episode? And can you talk about this product because you have viewers? And it's not worth it for us. We'd rather not do a promotional thing. We have enough stuff that we offer, and so we haven't done a promotional episode, and I don't think we will. The economics are just not worth it, but it's very powerful. The 5th one in terms of inbound, and this one is obvious, but I don't like it as much. I put it as number 5, is because it takes forever. But once you start putting time into it, I've always been shocked about how well it works in the long run, is SEO. Meaning, if you are creating a blog post out of the things that you are posting on LinkedIn and on Twitter, and maybe you actually create a blog post for your podcast episodes, right? You can actually take that blog post and build SEO, and over time, more and more people will find this through SEO if you position it the right way. Then, of course, at the end of the blog post, you want to upsell to your manifesto or your lead magnet or a free trial so that people can actually learn more about you and go move further down the funnel. So that's inbound. And this may look like an obvious list, but not everyone does it with diligence. They don't quite know how to do it. For example, in our SaaS Go-to-Market program, we give you, I think the number is like 54 different type of LinkedIn posts that you can do that resonate really well. We give you ways to generate ideas. We actually teach you how to think about SEO. So these are really powerful things that we teach you step by step. And the reason for that a lot of companies don't do them is because they get a little lost on and overwhelmed on how do we do this, how do we do it effectively. They'll do it once or twice and they'll give up because it doesn't work and it doesn't have enough time to compound. But if you actually embrace it, it can be incredibly, incredibly powerful. So that's inbound. And in case you're wondering, with ToutApp, content on LinkedIn was one of the big ways, and blog posts was one of the big ways. And for me, I posted blog posts and posted on Hacker News, and that actually is what really got things moving for me initially to get that many users. And there's one other one that actually comes later that I'll tell you about. That was the real game changer. That's inbound. And these are 5 strategies that you can use, doesn't cost any money, and that are incredibly effective, and they compound over time. And one thing you'll notice is I don't have content on Facebook here. And the reason for that is for B2B SaaS, it doesn't work very well. And also organic on Facebook and Instagram is non-existent. Meaning Facebook and Instagram will not share your posts with your followers, your page. It just doesn't do that much of it because they want you to pay. And so it goes under this ad category. Whereas with LinkedIn and Twitter, Twitter doesn't want you to pay. It doesn't want anyone to pay. There's very few ad revenues that really drives Twitter. But LinkedIn also is the same. They want organic content, authentic content. So they prioritize that. Okay, now let's talk about outbound. Now, outbound is near and dear to my heart because I started ToutApp, and the reason I built ToutApp over that weekend, which was kind of crazy to talk about, was because I wanted to send outbound emails to promote this other product that wasn't going anywhere. I'm like, maybe if I email people that really need it and to tell them about it, and I had a tool to do it really quickly, I could type in their email and hit the template and then keep going, like it would be very powerful. And so that's literally how that came together. Turns out a lot of other people needed it too. So outbound, straightforward. Number one, you can do a cold email, fairly easy. Number two, you can send a FedEx envelope. We've talked about this before. And number three, you can do cold calling. And believe it or not, at this point, I work with about 75 plus companies in the go-to-market program. We have another 40, I want to say, in the launch program. Launch is more like initial product market fit. They're trying to figure that out. Go-to-market is scaling. And in the go-to-market program with over 75 companies, all three of these are effective. I've seen this be effective in 2021 across these companies. Email, more effective than ever, as long as you are personalizing. Personalization is key. Just firing off 1,000 emails won't really work. You have to personalize. FedEx works really well, but you have to have these large deal sizes and you have to have something meaningful to send them. And cold calling, like, doesn't matter what the deal sizes are. Like, I've seen cold calling work really well, especially in like niche industries. Like, I have some people that sell to coaches, sports academies, like, and you know, they're busy, they're not in front of their computer. And so they essentially, you got to cold call them, and that works incredibly well. And they've been able to onboard users. So it's like super powerful. So those are the three marketing strategies that you can use in outbound and works just as well in 2021. Okay, so before I go into the next group, number 9 through 12, which also there's some ones in there that really drove growth for ToutApp in the early days and later. Okay, let me just pause here for a second. Are you starting to see the power in this? Are you starting to see the power in, if you actually invest in some of these strategies, you get to control your destiny. You get to amp up the volume. You get to actually do this and get continued compounding results. If you're starting to see the power in this, can I just get a yes in the comments below? Also, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really likes it when you do that. Now, also, if you're looking for the step-by-step framework to follow to implement these B2B SaaS marketing strategies, like how do you actually structure your LinkedIn posts? What works well? What should you upsell them to? How does a manifesto work? How often should you post? How do you actually do outbound email? These are all things we cover in my SaaS go-to-market coaching program. So I'll tell you more about it at the end of this video. I'll also link to it below. If you're really anxious, you can go to tkkader.com/GTM to learn more. But let's go to this next set of SaaS B2B strategies because these are really, really cool. All right, let's go. All right, now let's go to the one that like actually worked really well for ToutApp, especially during the course of that fateful weekend. Marketplaces. Marketplaces are really incredible, and they are underutilized, especially for SaaS companies. A lot of times I'll see people like, you know, I get these messages all the time. I'm sure you get them too. It's like someone on Twitter is like, hey, and like I haven't heard from them ever. And they're like, hey, like we're launching on Product Hunt. It would mean a lot if you go and hunt us and like hit the button. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, and I do it. Like I wish if people took that energy that they put into Product Hunt, because Product Hunt, what ends up happening is this giant spike and then nothing. Like you don't really understand who your customers are. You don't really understand, like it's just a mess. It's not something organic and sustainable. Like don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's good benefits of it, but from a go-to-market strategy point of view, it's not a go-to-market strategy. It's just a gimmick, and that's fine. But if they could just take the effort of doing that stuff in Product Hunt and put it into marketplaces, then they would be better off. Like they would be so much better off for their launch. And so marketplaces that are incredibly powerful today, let me switch to blue. I should have numbered these in the continuing list. So 6, 7, 8, there we go. We'll call that a happy accident. All right, number 9 is Chrome Web Store. This was one of the ways that we got incredible distribution for ToutApp. We had our core email tool, and then we built out a Chrome extension and posted it in the Chrome Web Store. And salespeople just found it, and people of all walks of life found it. It was incredible. Like we got an insane amount of distribution out of the Chrome Web Store. And you know, there's a little bit of positioning work required. You got to message it the right way. You got to create your listing in a proper way. But we've tested this recently on some projects that we're playing around with, and even now it drives incredible volume in terms of actual new users for through the Chrome Web Store. It's still very, very powerful as long as you're solving a relevant problem and you position it the right way. And so if you took all that work and effort you did for one day of Product Hunt, and you know, just so you put a logo saying we got hunted, and no one cares, the customers don't care about that, and you put it into one of these marketplaces, you get ongoing distribution, and that could be really, really powerful. I don't have anything against Product Hunt personally. Like I think it's a really cool thing. I'm just talking from a go-to-market perspective. Please don't hate on me. Number 10, Salesforce App Exchange. This is for B2B SaaS, especially if you are in the RevTech space, and I'll put HubSpot over here also, HubSpot ecosystem. If you're in the RevTech space, or if you're in the CX space, if you're building a product for that, integrating into HubSpot or Salesforce, which are essentially the de facto CRMs for mid-sized companies, enterprise companies, large companies, and actually getting listed in their ecosystem marketplace and their app exchange, incredibly powerful. First of all, when you talk to customers, saying that you integrate with their system of record, huge value add. Second of all, customers go searching on their app stores because it's a matter of trust, and they'll find you and they'll install you. And that's incredibly powerful. And on that vein, if you are, say, not in this, the B2B, RevTech space, but if you're in, say, the e-commerce space, the Shopify, this is the new thing, Shopify App Store is also, oh my God, incredible. Like, we have a bunch of Shopify companies in our GTM program, like incredible. Shopify App Store, I think, is an incredible source of leads as long as you keep the reviews going. And the same thing goes for Salesforce App Exchange and Chrome Web Store. The key is to position it and list it the right way, have the right call to action, and then making sure that you actually drive reviews. The more reviews you drive, the more they bubble it up, the more they highlight it, the more people that install, the more reviews you get, so that gets that flywheel going. And it's, again, like, I don't think enough people think about marketplaces. Like, you should think about, hey, what are the marketplaces where our customers hang out? Which one of these can we integrate with? And how do we hook into that? Maybe there's a natural way to do a Chrome extension that adds to your product, makes it a little bit more permanent. Go do that. You'll get a bunch of users. Maybe it's with Salesforce or HubSpot, or maybe it's with Shopify. 100% do that. Incredibly, incredibly powerful. So for me, Chrome Web Store, content on LinkedIn, blog posts were what got things moving in that weekend. But there was one more, and it was insane, like bananas insane. And this was co-marketing. And this is a little bit nuanced from actual marketplaces. Co-marketing is on a category of its own because it's the way it works is it's an integration plus an email promotion. And this is amazingly powerful. So I'll tell you how we did it. Like, Tout app, that first week things were moving, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I started noticing it was more and more salespeople signing up. So I'm like, you know what? We should integrate with the CRM. And at that time, I didn't know enough about Salesforce, but I knew Highrise because I was a 37 Signals fanboy, which is now Basecamp. And so I integrated into Basecamp. I'm not Basecamp, Highrise, which was their CRM. And I said, like, it'll sync with Highrise, it'll update Highrise whenever you send out an email, and you can, from our Chrome extension, you can fire off emails out of Highrise. And we created this thing, and I created a little demo video and a little demo page with a start free trial thing. And I emailed the folks over at Highrise. I literally emailed Jason Fried and DHH. I didn't really know them. I had talked to them once before. I don't think they remembered, but when I was at Plaxo, we had talked to them because we were doing a Highrise integration. But so I emailed them cold, a different email. There was no prior relationship there, really, for all practical purposes. And I told them, like, hey, here's a little demo of what we did. Like, it's an email tool, but it's integrated into Highrise. Email is a missing piece in CRM. Back then, that was the case. Now they're all built in, but back then that wasn't the case. And so that's why it was so powerful. And they just highlighted it and emailed it out to their newsletter. They literally sent it out to their newsletter. And I think at that point, their newsletter probably had like 200,000 people. It was insane. And granted, not all 200,000 people used Highrise. Basecamp was still their more popular product, but it just like opened up the floodgates with people signing up for the product and trying it out and using the integration. And as it goes with SaaS, if you deeply integrate it into the tool that you do your workflow in, they're less likely to churn. So they became incredible customers as well. And so that's the 12th one. Find the integration, email them and say, hey, can you send this out to your customer list? This is a really great integration. You should promote it to your customer base, and it's a win-win. And a lot of times they'll do it as long as it's not a crazy sized company. Okay, so let's start to recap. Number one, you can do inbound. There's 5 strategies right here. I really like content on LinkedIn, content on Twitter. Those are my favorites. You should absolutely do them. Turn them into blog posts, and then start to build out the SEO. And then if you want to do a podcast or YouTube, that's a bigger lift, but works really well. Number 2, second bucket, outbound. Do email, FedEx, or cold calling. All 3 of them work now in 2021 and probably will work for the next 10 years because it's just that powerful. Marketplaces, find the company where your customers are already hanging out integrate with them, get listed on the marketplace, drive the reviews. Chrome Web Store, Salesforce App Exchange, HubSpot ecosystem, Shopify App Store, all very powerful. And then number 12, do an integration and get that company to promote it to their user base. It's win-win. It's not competitive. They'll do it and you get a whole bunch of users. This one, then eventually this one for sure, this one, and this one, and then eventually this one was what drove growth for ToutApp. And they didn't cost any money. They cost people. You had to figure out how to do these things effectively. There's a good way to do them and a bad way to do them. But once we cracked the code in each of these, they drove growth for us, which was incredible. And best of all, we controlled the levers around this. We could control how many emails we send out, who we reach. We controlled who we connected with on LinkedIn. We controlled what keywords we would target. We controlled how to list us and actually highlight ourselves and drive more reviews. So this gives you so much more control than like giving Mark Zuckerberg just money and then hoping that the right people find you. So this is incredibly powerful. Now you know what these 12 strategies are, but you may not know how to do them effectively. And so if you want step-by-step instructions to follow, coaching, support to actually execute on these go-to-market strategies, this is exactly what I do inside my SaaS go-to-market coaching program. And so if you are interested in actually getting a step-by-step framework to follow, my coaching to actually implement these things and succeed in these channels and then graduate to ads, then I invite you to apply to join my SaaS go-to-market coaching program. Just go to tkkader.com/GTM, tkkader.com/GTM. At that page, you'll get all the details about the program, and then you'll be able to fill out a little application form and apply to join. One new development with 75 plus clients and growing, I started to put more and more of my time into just focusing on my paid clients and these YouTube videos. And so I no longer do those calls because it like literally was not sustainable. Like we get so many of these applications. Thankfully, like I'm not boasting, it's just like, it was just the truth. And so now we have a team TK. I've trained them personally to actually talk to you, figure out where you are in your SaaS business, if we can help you answer questions about the go-to-market program, and then get you in. And once you're in, then we work together. And so that's how we've set it up. That's something new we've done. It just had to be done because I was like, do I focus more on our clients or do more calls? And I'd rather focus more on the clients, and the people that really want to get in will get in and they'll get all my time. I'd rather do it that way. And so super pumped about the new team, and I'm just excited. And so we'll just go to that page, tkkader.com/GTM. You'll be able to apply. We'll get on a call. We'll make sure that we really understand where you are in terms of your SaaS business, and we can help. We'll answer any questions. And then we're off to the races. So tkkader.com/GTM. Also, if you got value from this video, please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It just means the world to us when you do that. If you're part of a Slack group, a Facebook group, an email list with other founders and marketers that are in SaaS, please share this video with them. It'll just mean the world to us. We put a lot of love into these videos. And lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business. When you are with us, yours is going to be unstoppable. I'm TK, and I'll see you in the next episode.